We start this spooky story with Katie, Aunt Katie at this moment, holding her nephew, whose name is Hunter. She gives him a gift, a box. Inside is a necklace, but doing as all babies do, Hunter puts that box in his mouth, finding it far more interesting than that necklace. Shortly after, Katie says goodbye to her sister, who's holding the camera. This movie is one of those found footage ones. Should be obvious by now because this is movie number 4. But anyways, spoilers ahead. We see the final moments in Hunter's life before he's kidnapped. A possessed Katie has snuck into the home of her sister and her husband. After snapping that husband's neck like a twig, Katie heads upstairs, where her sister's holding the baby Hunter, singing to him. She becomes spooked when she sees Katie, and is thrown backwards, presumably killed. Katie lifts Hunter in her arms. She turns and walks away. The perspective changes. Someone else is holding the camera. Henderson, Nevada, November 1st, 2011. We see children playing a game of football, or soccer, depending on where you live. As the kids have fun, we see in the background, standing alone some distance away, a child. Not part of the game, but just standing there, watching creepily. The camera moves away, and when it pans back, the creepy kid is gone because, of course he is. After the game, the boy whose name is Wyatt, aged 6, and adopted, sits with his sister as they have a picnic waiting for their dad. Wyatt's upset his dad's missed the soccer game. Wyatt pretends to be a helicopter, and his dad finally appears, dressed in a business suit. He greets his wife. The sister, named Alex, teaches Wyatt briefly how to do a cartwheel, or at least tries to. Wyatt fails epically, but at least he tried his best. When they're heading home,
how much wood can a woodchuck chuck?
They see that creepy kid again, walking alone. Alex and Wyatt play golf inside. Then Ben, Alex's boyfriend, lets himself in and they all say hi to him. The parents are gone, so Alex gets the house to herself. She invites some friends over and they have fun and play games. Once they're gone, it's just Alex and Ben.
This couch just in general is more comfortable.
Ben's asking for a tour outside, so Alex shows him the garden in the dark, and they explore Alex's playground, or castle as she calls it. Ben climbs inside, getting spooked when he finds a strange boy just standing there. Alex goes up to him, recognizing him as the boy from across the street, the creepy kid watching the football game and walking home alone. He doesn't really talk much, but stares at Ben a lot. They walk him home. The next morning, Alex and Ben are still hanging out together, and Alex sings about the boy on her guitar. Alex goes on to explain a bit about Robbie's mom, saying that she's single and works a lot, so she's not home much. Apparently, Robbie thinks wandering around at night is normal. Later on, Ben and Alex are FaceTiming. She takes him, the laptop, downstairs to the kitchen, continuing to talk to him while she gets a snack. Alex hears sirens outside and goes to investigate. Something's going on at Robbie's house. There's flashing lights outside the home. Alex's mom comes downstairs, and Alex tells Ben she has to go. The next day, Alex and Ben are standing inside, looking out the window. They see Robbie approaching their home, looking lost as he usually does. They go to the balcony and watch as Alex's mom opens the door for Robbie, welcoming him inside, and Wyatt goes over to say hi also. Wyatt seems a little unsure as he takes Robbie's hand, walking off with him, and probably going to play or something. As Alex and Ben walk away, Ben says how amazing he thinks Robbie is. Alex asks her mom as she walks up the stairs, what happened to Robbie's mom? Apparently, she's going to be in the hospital for like 2 to 3 days, and Robbie, it's been decided, is staying with them for that time, having no other relatives. So Robbie begins to settle in, unpacking his bag, and very carefully putting his things on the bed, one of which is a toy called Shipshuba, a dog of some sort. The next thing he brings out is his special fork. Robbie goes on to say how expensive the fork is, saying that it's special because it tells the future. Yeah. Kid's hella weird. Alex leaves Robbie in his room to play and goes to talk to her mom, saying he's fine but that he's a little weird. She agrees. Now later that night, Alex FaceTimes with Ben again. They talk about their parents. Ben says his parents fight all the time.
They don't even look at each other. Like, I can't remember the last time they kissed.
Alex says her parents act like everything's okay, but she knows it's not. Divorce is mentioned. Alex looks to the side several times, having heard something. She tells Ben briefly she'll be right back before leaving. Silence. There's a creepy rumbling in the background. A shadow moves in the hallways. Ben says Alex's name. She jump scares her way back into the room, talking casually about how it was Robbie, doing creepy kid stuff again, standing in the kitchen at midnight and staring at nothing. Now the next day, Ben shows Alex a video. He's recorded their video chat, saying his computer does it automatically. Sure, bro. He automatically recorded her sleeping. I mean, his computer did, apparently. Don't worry about it. He's only telling her this because he wants to show her something specific. You guessed it. It's Robbie, doing weird stuff again. Robbie's lying next to Alex and puts his hand on her as she sleeps, clearly unfamiliar with the concept of personal space and consent. Alex is understandably disturbed by this. So later, Alex and Ben are talking to Alex Alex's mom about stuff, mentioning Robbie's weird behavior the night before. The mom's shrugging it off, saying she knows it's weird but excuses and so on. Later, Alex visits her little brother Wyatt in the play area thingy, and Wyatt introduces to Alex Robbie's friend. Where is he? On the corner, right there, see? Robbie tells Alex he knows she can't see him. He looks mad. Seconds later, they're called in for lunch. Now later that day, Ben comes over again, saying hi to the boys, and Robbie mentions his friend again. Ben assumes this is an imaginary friend. Robbie insists his friend is real, and Alex comes downstairs.
Do you guys want to see something really cool that you can do with the Kinect?
Ben shows something cool on the Xbox, turning the lights off and showing them a room full of dots, but you can only see it with infrared. Then they have a space dance party while Robbie watches from the sofa. Later on, when watching that footage back, Ben notices something moving next to Robbie, but can't quite figure out what that is. It's 3 in the morning, and Alex, having heard a noise, goes to investigate, bringing that camera, of course. She finds Robbie standing creepily downstairs in front of the TV. He says he couldn't sleep. Well, Alex gets scared when she feels a disturbance in the force, and Robbie runs back to his room. The next morning, Alex shows Ben the footage. Then Alex shows her dad, who basically says, "Wow, you guys are so good at special effects and stuff," before leaving the room. Later that night, Alex says goodbye to the boys, reminding Robbie to stay in bed before going to her room. Alex and Ben talk some more, and Alex asks Ben if he can record videos on other computers, so he sets up everything. One of the cameras is recording in the boys' room, another downstairs facing the living room, kitchen, and stairs, and another in the corner of the kitchen. At first, but we all know how this goes. Now Alex comes home from school. The house is quiet. She's pouring herself a drink in the kitchen when a ball creepily bounces down the stairs. Alex goes to check it out, calling upstairs, asking if anyone's home, but finds nobody. She goes to her room and lays back on the bed without taking her shoes off. She hears some weird noises and gets up to investigate. And by investigate, I mean standing in the middle of the room shouting, "Hello?" She eventually finds the courage to go outside in the hallway and finds a line of toys heading to the boys' room, to a cupboard with nothing. The toy train begins to roll around the tracks, scaring her. She's calling out for her brother again, heading downstairs now, the faint rumbling still audible, the chandelier swinging. The cat runs past her up the stairs. Alex goes downstairs to the dining room, seeing clearly that wildly swinging chandelier. She's scared when another chandelier, almost directly above her, comes crashing down right in front of her, making her scream. She sees Robbie upstairs looking down at her and following him. He runs into her room and she demands to know what's going on, saying that he knows, and she knows that he knows, but he won't answer, and so she drags him out of her room, telling him not to come in again. Now later, the dad's making an angry phone call about the fallen chandelier, saying how his daughter could have been killed as the mom cleans up the broken glass. Alex tries to say that the ghost did it, and it's somehow Robbie's fault, but neither parent will listen. Alex wakes up at 2 in the morning, somehow able to sleep with all those open doors. She tells the camera that there are a bunch of cars around Robbie's house, and she's gonna go check it out, and so she goes outside. She sees very little and hurries back home after another false jump scare. Later the next day, Alex shows Ben the footage. Hearing a loud noise upstairs where the boys are playing, they go to investigate. Alex finds the room a mess, and Wyatt with his shirt off, weird drawing all over his skin. Robbie tells Ben that he doesn't like him. Alex tries to clean Wyatt quickly before Mom comes home. Wyatt, not Robbie, wakes up at stupid o'clock and goes downstairs, speaks to the demon, telling him that the others are sleeping and that he's sure. Now the next day, Alex asks him why he got up last night, asking if he had a nightmare, but Wyatt won't speak.
No, it's not scribbles on his back. It's the same symbol.
Alex and Ben consult Google about some shapes, as Ben called them, a triangle with a circle inside. Later on, when Mom's out, Alex looks out the window to see the two boys leaving the property. She calls them little shits before grabbing her camera and following. They've gone into Robbie's home, and not knowing what else to do, Alex walks uninvited into that home, which looks abandoned inside. Windows covered up, furniture with sheets on them. Alex notices a padlock on the wall before finding the boys and trying to leave. Before she can escape to safety, she runs into, that's right, Katie. Alex leaves Robbie with his mom, Katie, and she takes Wyatt back home. Later, when her own mom is home, she tells her what happened and how creepy everything was. Finally, Alex is free from Robbie. Later, Alex talks to Wyatt, asking him about the other day when he went next door into that creepy house. Wyatt tells Alex that Robbie's adopted, like himself. Katie told Wyatt that his other family needs him back. Alex is kind of freaked out by this. It's 3 a.m. The cat is doing cat things. A door slowly opens in Wyatt's room. Wyatt gets up and stomps his way downstairs. There's a figure walking behind him. Wyatt stands in front of the TV and speaks to the demon, saying that his name is not Hunter, and he says that a lot, speaking loud enough to wake his dad, who takes him back to bed. The next day, Alex finds both boys playing in the treehouse, but when she gets there, Robbie's gone. Alex asks him some questions, but Wyatt is vague. Later that night, Wyatt's mom gives him a bath. Wyatt seems despondent, barely listening to his mom as he watches movies on the laptop, which he takes to the bathroom so he can continue watching. Mom goes downstairs and Wyatt is left alone in the bath for a short time. Mom's talking on the phone, and Wyatt hears a thump that sounds like it came from maybe inside the bath itself. The rumbling starts. Wyatt's suddenly dragged under the water and held there for a prolonged period of time as Mom continues to talk on the phone. The rumbling continues. The water has become still. Wyatt appears calmly and the show on the laptop continues as if nothing happened. Mom heads back to help him dry, completely oblivious. The next night, Dad comes downstairs, past midnight, and tells Mom that he's never seen their daughter sleep so hard. Mom then admits, they argue. While upstairs, Wyatt wakes up and goes into the cupboard for some reason.
It makes me nuts. You're gonna give her a drug like that and not ask me?
Doors begin to open, rumbling starts, and Wyatt goes in his sister's room, creepily standing in the corner. Alex begins to levitate. The next morning, Mom comes in to wake Alex, who says she feels like she got hit by a truck. Alex gets freaked out when Wyatt claims that his new name is Hunter. For those not paying attention, Hunter's the name of the boy Katie stole in the beginning. Alex and Ben FaceTime while the cat sits in the way. In typical cat fashion, they talk about Wyatt and his new strange behavior. Dear God, is that Katie sitting on the sofa? Ben says he can't come over tonight and Alex is mad. It's currently 1 a.m. by the way. Alex hears the garage door opening and carries the laptop to investigate. Apparently her parents shouldn't be home at this time. Alex finds the garage door stuck open. She closes it, says goodbye to Ben, saying she'll talk to him later. She goes back into the house. The garage door continues to make weird noises. It opens again. Alex is like, WTF? She goes back out to investigate. The garage door slams shut and the doors slam shut, trapping her. Meanwhile, Katie walks upstairs, back in the garage. Noises are happening. Alex fully freaks out, dropping the laptop and screaming. In his room, Wyatt wakes up. The rumbling starts. Alex is trapped in the garage. The car's emitting smoke, and now she's at risk of dying. Wyatt hears Katie stomping towards him, running to the cupboard to hide. Katie steps into the room. She goes to the cupboard, kneeling before it, asking for him to open the door, asking nicely at first, then more sternly. Back in the garage, Alex begins to die. She smashes the window to get in the car, reversing hard and breaking the garage door, saving herself. She later tries to explain this to her parents, now in hysterics. They think she's crazy. Later, her dad tries to speak with her, inviting her out for a meal, just the two of them, so they can talk about things. Alex angrily replies that there's no point because he's not going to listen, but after some convincing, she eventually agrees. After getting her stuff ready, she storms out of her room. Mom's home alone. She answers the phone, and we see Katie, once again creeping around. Well, we know where Robbie's getting it from. She heads upstairs, all creepy-like. She walks back into Hunter's room. Mom hangs up the call. She's about to head upstairs when she hears some strange sounds. Once again, the rumbling begins. Now she's feeling uneasy at first, then outright scared as a book falls off the shelf. The rumbling continues. There's a creak. Something breathes on her, blowing her hair back. Then a demon outright murders her, lifting her and throwing her on the floor. Katie calmly heads back downstairs, hides the body, and Hunter climbs down the ladder from the top bunk. Later, Ben walks into an empty house, talking loudly about the triangle symbol and a coven and stuff. He leaves a message on Alex's mom's phone about it before hanging up. He goes and helps himself to a drink from the fridge, then goes into the living room to stare at the camera. There's a loud bang behind him, and he starts to call Alex's name. He goes to her room. It's empty. He goes to her computer. Oh shit, Katie's behind him. In typical Katie fashion, she breaks his neck, just like she did with Hunter's dad. Alex and her dad get home, slowing the car to see Katie and a boy walking back inside her own home. Well, Alex goes home searching for anyone, and boy is she in for a shock. She calls Ben's phone and hears it ringing in her cupboard. Here we go, stepping into the cupboard.
Ben?
Well, she's shoved out by an invisible force, dragged across the room. She runs outside in a panic, into Robbie's home where she finds her dad being dragged. She finds Wyatt, as she calls him, crying behind a curtain. Nope, he's not there. Then she hears him call her name somewhere else in the house and tries to find him. The rumbling continues. Katie steps out of the corridor and charges Alex, literally breaking through the door as Alex tries to escape. Alex finds her little brother outside, but he refuses to move. Alex suddenly realizes she's surrounded by tens of women, each wearing a necklace of that shape they saw before, a triangle with a circle inside it. Alex is then presumably murdered by Katie. The end. And that was it, guys. Thanks for chilling with us on Paranormal Activity 4, released back in 2012 by directors Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. Let us know what you guys thought with the hashtag Cinema Recap in the comments. As always, till next time.